My name is Ida Palojärvi, and I have an installation here called Anlegestelle. And I've shown it once before, a few years ago, in Helsinki at Ham Gallery. And the work is slightly participatory installation, and I hope that people go and see it only one person at a time. And in the end there is a small surprise. Nothing to be scared about though, but when I was a kid, like 7 years old or something, I had a dream in which I was watching someone, an adult, through the door hole. And I noticed that the adult noticed me watching him or her. And the adult got somehow like scared. And then that was maybe the first time when I realized that I can be also the scary one. Or I can be the possibly evil or something. Even though I didn't do anything in the dream, I was just watching. And it was such a powerful dream that I've been thinking about it all my life afterwards. Like every once in a while I remember it and I remember this feeling. And this work for me is also about that kind of feeling when you have done something, maybe harmed someone, or have been doing something wrong towards someone, and then you suddenly notice it. And what kind of feeling comes out of that? In my work there's a pier, and I want people to walk on it, and in the end there is this kind of, hopefully some kind of experience. I don't want to dictate too much what people feel or see, or might be completely bored or amazed or whatever. Everything is fine, and I'm also happy if they don't want to walk until the end. I can't force people to do that. But yeah, if it would be possible, then it would be nice that people would go alone, because then they have the peace and tranquility to really see what they want and experience it. Without the pressure of someone else being there in the same space. My works are installations. I've been usually doing installations so that they kind of surround the viewer. And the viewer is the main key in the installations. So they don't really, I think they don't really exist without the viewer. The main theme is usually the perception, and also I usually try to restrict it somehow. I usually have this kind of element in the work that is a little bit like a sculpture of element, but is not a sculpture in such. But the way I show it is the actual work, the artwork itself. I've been playing a lot with darkness and also light and other kind of obstacles steam or fog or physical elements. I built some kind of walls behind or in front of the work that I want to somehow partly hide and partly show for the viewer. And I hope that it makes this kind of the work, the elements. I hope that they look somehow different and more meaningful with this kind of restricted way. If I would just show them in an empty room where people could like walk and see them completely freely, they might be would be probably really boring stuff, like banal everyday things, or funny things or childish things. I studied at the sculpture department, and I tried a bit this and that, and I was kind of like unhappy with. I didn't find my way of doing artworks until the very end of the art school, when I was doing my final work, the master's final work, and that's how. That's when I like totally got myself what I want to do, actually. And that has been defining everything that I've done since. My side job is at the film theater. I think that has also like affected my artworks in a way, because the structure is a bit similar, that I'm there, I'm letting in people to see something in a dark room or in a restricted place. And I somehow control that situation, and then they come out and they probably have seen something that has slightly changed them, hopefully, or maybe not, but at least they've got some kind of experience. So I've also thought about like sometimes like making artworks outdoors or something, but I find it really difficult, because I think the architecture, somehow like the rooms and the walls and the floors and the ceilings are like such a huge part of the works. So not yet, maybe in the future, if I find a way. And it's really interesting to be here in such an old house, because it has a very specific feeling in it. It is like completely different from this kind of white, typical gallery space that is like neutral, or trying to be neutral. But this space here is completely different. I feel it's I can feel the weight of the house, of the walls are so thick somehow, and somehow been here for such a long time that it has some kind of nice feeling. Also, this work that I have here is on the floor, so the floor of the space is also like it becomes like this part of the work. And this wooden floor, it fits more than perfectly to my installation. My mom is also an artist, and I remember thinking when I was a kid that I will never become an artist. And I've said to her many times, like, by the way, I will never become an artist. So that, I think, that tells all of it. Of course, I knew. I was trying to rebel against it, but then no. I've lived in France when I was a kid, 1 year in Paris and then 1 year in Strasbourg. And later, as an adult, like 10 years ago, we lived 1 year in Berlin. So I've been abroad, but I feel that I've been moving around so much that I want to settle down, and I feel that Helsinki is like treating me well. I have a nice studio. I've been really lucky, because that's really difficult in Helsinki, I think. It's a small place, but anyway, it's very near to the place where I live. And it's not too expensive, at least not yet. So for now, this seems to be the best place to be. I don't know about Paris contemporary art scene. I have no clue, because I was a kid then, and I've been visiting obviously afterwards, but I feel it's a museum city actually. So I have never felt like going back to like really live there. It's a beautiful place, but then again, like there's, And now, I think 10 years ago, Berlin was the place to be, but I've heard from the other people who have lived there now that almost everyone is going away. So I don't know. I have some new projects going on now. I've just had an exhibition in Stockholm, and now it is in Tromsø in Norway for a few more days. So I have a new work there. It hasn't been here in Finland anywhere, so maybe next thing for me will be showing it somewhere here. That's my plan, but let's see. I also get bored quite quickly showing the same stuff, so I want to do something new. Yeah. This work here in Turku Taidehalli, I think it is a different space, and also like the space has windows. So that's kind of a new element for the viewer, and it has changed the tone of my work somehow a little bit. The viewer can see outside, but there can be also this kind of opposite feeling that the outside world can see you. Yeah, that's really fascinating. Yeah, I like it. My artworks are more like, I don't know, of course it's somehow about me, but also like about the artworks and watching the world, how people watch, like in the eye and the perception itself. So, yeah. My artworks are not unique in a way. Like, I mean, the idea is that I have, and all the physical parts of the artwork I can change. If they get broken, it's fine. Or I can just, like, if I don't have enough space to keep it, then to store it, then I can just like forget about it, get rid of the stuff, and then remake it again. It's still the same artwork for me. So I'm not so attached to the physical elements that they would be like impossible to I don't know. Yeah, if I'm thinking about paintings or something, that is usually the painter can't do the same thing again anymore. I don't know, maybe someone can. Yeah, I'm not a painter, but at least for me they are more unique pieces. So as an artist, I feel I'm always like some kind of amateur with all kind of like handicrafts, even though I would like handle them, or I know what I'm doing, but I think my specialty is the idea and not the physical outcome so much that, yeah. And that's how also why I don't feel like that I'm a sculptor, because I think that they would like really, they really know what they are doing, like with the works and the materials, and yeah, they make maybe these kind of more like unique pieces. I try not to be too obsessed with this kind of necessity of having all the time like great shows in great places. Obviously, I mean, that's really nice when people can see my works, but I think thinking too much about will I get grants, or will I get shows in like good galleries or whatever, or abroad, then that will kind of take away energy from just like living and thinking somehow productively with artworks themselves. So yeah, everyone is probably struggling with that. I think everyone in this art field probably has all these thoughts all the time, but yeah, it's somehow inevitable, but I still hope that I can somehow filter them. And then just try to take it easy. And also I don't know, my philosophy is also like not to do too many works or too many exhibitions at the same time, or like somehow I'm not in a hurry. I try to feel that, yeah, or try to convince myself that it's fine. I have time. Yeah. When I feel that my idea somehow comes out from the artwork like really nicely, or even sometimes quite often there's a surprise also for me how it looks like in the end, because I only have this one small studio and I share it with other artists, and I don't usually have so much space to try out the artworks before the exhibition itself. So I have time to build some elements, but the whole will always, the whole artwork is present only in the exhibition itself. So, yeah, of course they are slightly weird and slightly different than I thought. But yeah, usually it hasn't been a problem. I'm aware of the risk that they look completely different than I thought. Yeah, it has happened many times. I'm usually in a tram or on a bicycle or walking somewhere when I have this kind of wandering thoughts, and that's when I usually get the idea how to show something, like how to restrict viewers' perception. And then I start thinking, okay, I have this kind of dynamics, like what could be the element that I'm showing and why. And that phase can take like months or something, depending. But usually, yeah, like I have now many ideas of this kind of situations in my head that can become new artworks, but the elements, physical elements, are still somehow missing, or I'm searching for them. And yeah, they come out at some point. But I feel like it's like gathering some kind of leaves from the dead leaves from the ground, like, and then like some of those will be the like will be the new work. Like some of the leaves just seem right, and then that will be the element somehow. Yeah, sometimes it has been like ready-made stuff, or like fruits, for instance, or something that I just need to go and buy. But sometimes they have been like more like sculpture type of things that I need to build myself.